Wherever you're tuning in from, thank you for choosing your favorite show. I'm your presenter Abdurrahman Yusuf, and these are the stories that are making our headlines tonight. Somalia donates $5 million to Turkey. Somalia seeks UK support in lifting of the arms embargo security clause. Over 1.8 million children in Somalia to suffer from acute malnutrition in 2023. Mogadishu mayor declares war on drug dealers. The Somali government has handed over a donation collected from the Somali citizens to the Turkish embassy here in Mogadishu to support those affected by the earthquake that hit Turkey in early February, killing more than 45,000 people.
Today, the Somali government handed over a donation collected from Somali householders to the Turkish embassy in Somalia to support those affected by the earthquake that hit Turkey in early February that killed more than 45,000 people. An event organized by the ad hoc committee assigned by the Prime Minister to collect money from the Somali people occurred in the Somali National Theatre to hand over $5 million of solidarity to Turkish diplomatic missions in Somalia. Most Somali leaders, including the Somali Prime Minister Hamza Abdi Barre and Parliament speakers, attended the ceremony. In early February, when the terrible news of the earthquake was reported, the Somali Prime Minister Hamza formed a committee consisting of members of civil society, ministers and Islamic leaders to stand and collect monetary donations from the public and the country's administrations to show solidarity to the Turkish people. Somalia is struggling with severe droughts and conflicts that have evicted a considerable number of people from their homes, but that does not stop them from being part of the country's response to the request of the people affected by the earthquake that hit Turkey. Somali students are among the victims of the earthquake. Apart from the money collected by the government, Somali business people and citizens delivered some charities to the Turkish embassy in Somalia and the Somali embassy in Turkey to support people displaced by the earthquake. A large community of Somalis that include refugees, business people, students and residents live in Turkey. Somalis remember Turkey for its relief to Somalia in 2011 when a raving drought hit the country. Analysts have said that the aid provided by the government of Somalia to Turkey today is paramount and can help a lot in strengthening the relationship between the two countries and connecting their citizens' businesses. Turkey supports Somalia in many ways, first of all in the fight against terrorism and in reconstructing the country's armed forces.
Somalia has urged the UK government to help convince the United Nations to lift the arms embargo clause on the Somalia. On Saturday, Defense Minister Abdulkadir Mohammed Jama has held talks with the Deputy Ambassador of the United Kingdom, Ed Barnett.
Somalia has urged the UK government to help the nation to convince United Nations UN lift decades-long arms embargo on Somalia. On Saturday, Somalia's Defense Minister Abdulkadir Mohammed Nur Jama held talks with the Deputy Ambassador of the United Kingdom to Somalia, Ed Barnett. They discussed the importance of lifting the arms embargo and its importance as we intensify the operations to weed out Al-Shabaab fighters. They also discussed how to enhance the current support provided by the Somali National Army in the fight against terrorists and the importance of enhancing their capacity and capabilities to combat Al-Shabaab terrorists. Somalia has lately been raising the tempo against Al-Shabaab, cheering on village vigilantes to fight alongside the Somali National Army, while banning Shabaab narratives from the media and freezing bank accounts linked to the militant group. But the group has often responded with vengeance, targeting government offices, civilian servants and civilian areas with explosives to avenge for lost territory. Somali government has been trying to convince UN to completely lift the arms embargo by the end of this year. In November, the UN Security Council extended the arms embargo until November next year, urging Shabaab was still a threat to the country.
An international charity organization has warned that 1.8 million children are on the risk of malnutrition despite the risk of famine being averted.
About 1.8 million children aged under 5 are still expected to suffer from acute malnutrition in Somalia this year. Though the risk of famine has been averted for the time being, an international charity has warned. Save the Children said in a statement released in the Somali capital of Mogadishu on Wednesday evening that humanitarian needs remain high and urgent, and called for more funding so that humanitarian organizations can continue delivering life-saving aid. The charity said the total number of children facing malnutrition has not changed since December 2022, although the number projected to be severely malnourished has slightly reduced to about 480,000 from 513,500, with children losing their lives. It called for urgent international funding to prevent the further loss of life, warning that there continues to be a risk of famine if there is poor rainfall and if humanitarian assistance does not reach the most vulnerable people, including displaced populations and people living in areas which are hard to reach due to conflict. In 2022, the United Nations warned of a looming famine in Somalia, which is facing its worst drought in about 4 decades after 5 failed rainy seasons combined with rising food prices and ongoing conflict, fueling concerns of a repeat of 2011 when about 260,000 people died. Save the Children said while humanitarian efforts have so far averted a possible famine, the number of hungry and malnourished children across the country remains alarmingly high. He said a global response is still needed to address immediate humanitarian needs and implement lasting solutions to hunger.
The governor of Banaadir region, who also doubles up as the city's mayor, Sheikh Yusuf Hussein Jim'i Madale, has asked the city's residents to offer a helping hand in the fight against drug trafficking and Al-Shabaab menace.
The Banaadir governor, who also doubles up as the mayor of Mogadishu, Sheikh Yusuf Hussein Jim'i Madale, has said that the people of Mogadishu are required to participate in the fight against Al-Shabaab and drug trafficking. The two are threats to the peace and stability, he said. The mayor of Mogadishu indicated that it is not acceptable to trade, use and hide in Mogadishu drugs, youth gangs and Al-Shabaab, which is a key challenge for the stability of Banaadir region. The mayor indicated that operations against drug trafficking and Al-Shabaab will continue in Mogadishu. Yusuf Hussein Jim'i Madale, the governor of Banaadir region and mayor of Mogadishu, started meetings to discuss security, the fight against Al-Shabaab, drugs and substances abuse and youthful gangs who rob people and attacks them. The security agencies have also warned parents of neglecting their children, who have turned into juvenile gangs, disrupting peace and stability. Mogadishu has in the recent days seen increased cases of insecurity that has left many dead and others nursing wounds of varying degrees.
Thank you for staying with us. That's all we had prepared for you tonight from our desk here in Mogadishu. Have yourself a lovely night.